In the last several months of Steve Jobs' life, almost all of his attention was devoted to the element of culture, building a culture within Apple. We all think of Apple right now, and rightly so, in terms of their products, innovative products that changed industries, changed the way things are made, changed the beauty and look and feel of a tangible product. But Steve Jobs, in his last year or so, began to have this sort of personal epiphany that he and his legacy had to be more than a compilation of his products. He decided to create intentionally Apple University. It's a well-kept secret so far. It's based on 5 core principles. These might not be the principles you would select or I would select, but these are the principles around which Apple University, once it's launched, will be based. First, accountability. Pretty clear, pretty common. Everybody has to be held accountable for doing their job, doing it well. And as Roland Fryer is fond of saying, if you want to also track people's behavior, you have to look at the incentives that you give them to behave in certain ways. A culture can do that. Second thing is attention to detail. Makes perfect sense to all of you who are engineers, most all of you who have P&L responsibilities, etc. The third component of Apple University is perfectionism. Now we're getting a little bit into the wah-wah land. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail, as well as if you knew you could fail? Counter that, or complement it, with the notion of simplicity, the ultimate form of sophistication. But there's one more. Secrecy. Imagine a culture in which one of its 5 pillars is secrecy. Why is that in there? What does that mean? What does that imply? In part, we've seen Apple create products which has, of course, a lot of build-up to them. And you have tens of thousands of employees who are all in this same cultural club, that they know what's going on. They've been party to portions of the development of the product and the construction and the dissemination of the products. But they hold it close at hand until it's time, as one group, to launch together. One of my favorite sayings coming out of the Silicon Valley goes back to the days when Scott McNealy was at Sun Microsystem. The saying there was, we want all the wood behind one arrowhead. I think that's what a good culture does, is it figures out ways to take these disparate pieces, these small elements, these laminates, if you will, of all the wood on that shaft of that arrowhead, and figures out a way to bring it all together. And I think that you are in a tipping point. This is a transition time for this company, for this industry, and actually, of course, for the entire world. And you can be a party to this, and I believe that the true legacy of all of this is going to come from building and growing a company's culture, one that will outlast any of us in this room and will be ultimately all of our legacy.